Hello everybody, MegaZardX here, back at it again to give y'all another very exciting collection reflection video where I take the time out to just go through my whole entire gaming library. It could be a game, could be a console, and it could be a limited edition. But today we're going to be talking about none other than Super Mario Odyssey. Now, it was only a matter of time before I had to talk about this game though, because with it being like one of those pivotal games that released in 2017 for the Nintendo Switch, like this one I would say is one of the kings in terms of platforming games, and it's one. There's a reason why it has remained as one of the top 10 sellers for all Nintendo Switch games that have managed to sell up on this system. No, so in today's video, I'm just gonna go through and just talk about everything I love. And there's not really much of anything I really do hate up in this game though, but I'll just kind of give all my thoughts and reflections on this game here in today's video. But if you hadn't already done so, make sure you're going to hit that like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. Super Mario Odyssey. Now, you can think all the way back to, I think it was that January presentation in 2017 where they first revealed off well, technically we had a glimpse of it in 2016 in that October reveal for the Switch when it was codenamed NX at the time. We just got a glimpse of it. But the first blowout was back in January of that presentation showcase. And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, wait, we're going back to original form. Like I remember they had them showcases and they were saying how for the most part, Mario's been on a linear track in some of his most recent titles, like what was it, 3D World. Then you had Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. So it's been a while since we had the open sandbox style that we had in Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine. And they said when this game was coming back to return to form, I was like, heck freaking yes, because I love the heck out of Mario 64. Don't really like Sunshine too much though. I like the world building atmosphere and all that kind of stuff though. But the way how they gameplay played out, I wasn't necessarily a fan of it though. But rest assured, I love the 3D sandbox styles a little bit more so than the traditional linear style one. So when they came out with this game, I was like, oh goodness, let's go. Now, the major thing or the major gimmick that you had up in this game was Cappy. And the fact you can use this capture mechanic to capture basically almost any of the enemies that you happen to run across with as you're traversing these worlds with Mario. Like the fact that you can throw this thing on a Tyrannosaurus Rex or something like that, or the simple things as like a Goomba or a Bullet Bill. Almost anything was up for fair games in terms of your capture mechanics, which diversify the platforming and the traversal in each one of these kingdoms that you go through and explore exponentially. Like it was just crazy because like all the different possibilities and stuff, like you were just constantly running across new things left and right. It was like they were constantly throwing new ideas on it, kind of taking some of that inspiration that it had within like the Mario Galaxy stuff where there's something always new, something to interact with, but then cramming all that into a sandbox style environment, be able to go or do anything you want. And then I think one of my major pet peeves from like some of the past Mario games is the fact that you got a star, it ended the level, it kicked you out, you went back to some kind of hub world or something like that, and then you needed to go right back up in it. But within this one, there's so many moons, not stars this time, but moons for you to go through and collect to where you find one, you can keep exploring at your heart's content. And then keep exploring, find more moons here, find more moons there, to the point where it's like, all right, I'm done with this kingdom, I want to go somewhere else. Then you hop back up from the Odyssey ship, and then you traverse to another kingdom now. So I really did like that. So it allowed you to stay immersed in these worlds without having to pull you back out. Because, oh gosh, when it's all said and done with the moons that you collect in the main story as well in the post game, there's close to like 800 something moons all together though, especially like even some ones that you get from some achievements that you will see in that Toadette list once you get into the post game of the game. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious, this is one of those rare games I actually went through and 100% it on because I love the heck out of it that much to where I found all those natural moons. And then the moons that you can buy is just like the extra fillery ones. I bought enough to where I think I fully maxed out the moon meter though. So I did all the ones you can collect and then went and grinded a bunch of coins just to buy out and max out the rest of the moons though. So I love the heck out of this game. I can't really say I 100%ed a lot of games, but this is just one of those few that I just loved and adored it to death though. Now, in terms of going through and exploring, I mentioned about these kingdoms. you had so many different unique things. You had one that was like completely in a snow area. You had one that was kind of like in a beach environment. You had one where you first met Cappy in like this like darky kind of eerie kind, almost looked like something that you would see out of like Halloween Town, kind of spooky-ish vibe and stuff like that. You had one with the Sand Kingdom one. Remember the one where it was like it was really small, but it wasn't necessarily super big. I can't remember the exact name of it though, but the one where you had to fight that dragon. Oh shoot, I love the heck out of that mess right there though. And they had so many different unique ideas for each one. But obviously, the king of all kings in terms of like these kingdoms you're going through and explore is New Donk City. Oh my goodness gracious, that city right there, with it being inspired and based upon like go back to the Mario versus Donkey Kong days within the arcade classics and such. That's where it pulled a lot of its vibes and feelings from, especially the fact that we brought in a character that we had not seen in long series history past. And yes, I'm referring to Pauline. Oh my goodness, she was the mayor of New Donk City. There was like some issues and stuff kind of going on in the city. You have to do certain things, collect certain moves to help solve certain issues. And like with the sewer line stuff, things with the skyscraper cities and stuff, like it just felt so immersive. It felt like you were in like a mini version of like a New York City. I just love the heck out of that mess though. And especially once you got to the main theme where I think it was at one point, once you did enough stuff in New Donk City, it was like, all right, now we're going to have a party, a festival vibe stuff within the city itself. And that's when Paulin sung the famous song, One Up Superstar. And man, oh man, that theme, Nintendo went crazy with that theme in terms of its marketing material and the lead up to this launch of the game. Them even having like the NYC event thing that they were streaming out there on YouTube and such. Like they were running with this song. I remember they had like the crazy pop-up theme that they did for Nintendo E3 that year. Like they went hard on this New Donk vibe and city stuff, especially with the voice actor. Yeah, the voice actor that happened to sing this song as well, though. Like, man, even so much so that even when you pop open the case, you even have like the lyrics of the songs up in here. Like something that I wouldn't necessarily expect from Nintendo. You just expect some general good old artwork up in here. But the fact they went all out on that's just crazy in and of itself. I was like, oh my gosh, I love that though. And then this was like one of those games, even when you got into the post game and when they showcased off that final world, being based upon like, Mario 64 castle grounds and stuff, it actually brought maybe a little bit of a tear to my eye though, but it did shake me up a little bit emotionally because I was like, oh my gosh, like not only was this game freaking great and phenomenal from start to finish though, but for it to close out and give you that post game reward like that really drew on nostalgia from Mario 64 itself, it was like, oh my goodness. I remember for the longest time too, people were really thinking maybe we were going to get like some Super Mario Sunshine DLC Kingdom or something like that. Obviously that never happened. I remember the little tease with the watermelon seeds and stuff like, oh my goodness. Hey, that means Sunshine's coming. Thank goodness they didn't put that mess up in there. We didn't need that sunshine anyway though. But rest assured though, they had a lot of great ideas within Super Mario Odyssey that it just kind of felt like, the content just kept on coming. And even so much so where they actually gave a little bit of DLC for this game in terms of like the Luigi missions and stuff like that, where it's like the speed mode challenges, where it's like, hey, you race from one point to the other, kind of reminiscent of, those Koopa challenges that you were doing in Mario 64, like Bob-omb Battlefield, where you had to race to get to the top of the tower or the top of the plateau. Like it was kind of reminiscent of that. So I really did like certain elements of that game as well. And we were just thinking, well, if they're doing little DLCs like that, then maybe they'll add another kingdom though, but they never did. But who's to say that, by the time they could have done something like that, they could put all those ideas and shove it into the next 3D Mario game, which we'll probably see some point happen in the year of 2025 if the Switch 2 also happens to come out that year though. So that's when I'm fully banking on and stuff, and seeing all the cool ideas that they put up within the Bowser's Fury game in 3D, in 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I think there's a lot of room for growth in terms of the next 3D Mario one. And this one I felt like was really only scratching the surface though. But even then, this was like a great experience from start to finish though. And then obviously you had like the different amiibos and stuff. You had like the Wedding Mario, Wedding Peach, Wedding Bowser stuff. So I like those amiibo. And it was kind of funny how this one was kind of focused around Bowser actually trying to go full on try to marry Peach and stuff. And then I was like, dang, are they really gonna pull it where obviously Mario will save the day and stuff? Like, will Mario actually marry Peach? I'll just leave it at that though. But all y'all probably know the outcome of that though. But I mean, I did like the challenges up in here. You had some easy moons to get. Some of them were a little bit more complicated, a little bit more challenging, a little bit more daring to get, where it took a few different times to go through it. It wasn't necessarily also super punishing when you happen to fall or die or something like that. You just lost a little bit of coins though, so it didn't really feel like it was setting you back miles back when you were trying to go through and explore, just trying to be a daredevil and stuff. And I love the traversal, like where you're able to jump, throw Cappy's hat, dive, do a bounce off of it, and then keep on going, or being able to do like the little ground rumble thing where you're shaking the Pro Controller viciously and just constantly speeding along though. It kind of makes speed runs pretty cool to watch. I know my good friend Steven, co-host on the Zarcast podcast, I know he likes going through and trying to speed run through this thing though, but you can do some crazy things with Mario up in here in terms of his physics engine and kind of getting up to high airs that you probably wouldn't have no business trying to get up and try to shortcut up in this game though. But hey, the physics mechanics were there for you to be able to fully explore to your leisure and to your heart's content. But overall, I would say this: Mario Odyssey is a great freaking game from start to finish. If you own a Nintendo Switch and you had not managed to pick up this game, I honestly don't know what the heck you are doing. Like, I think in terms of the top 10 list, I somewhere around like the 5th slot or something like that though. But like, you're doing yourself a major disservice if you hadn't played, touched, or even messed with Mario Odyssey though. Like, there are so many different outfits for you to go through and collect as well. All the purple coins that you're also able to do that allow you to buy those certain outfits. So it's not like just collecting moons. You're also on the lookout for these special coins that allow you to get certain things with the currency, because that's one thing I like, is the fact that you're also able to use your coins, something that you just kind of usually use for lives, but now you're able to use this as a way to be able to buy meaningful stuff, whether it be like the 10 moons that counted towards your actual moon count, or any other additional suits and stuff. Because like Mario, you didn't have to wear his traditional plumber outfit stuff. You can wear like a exploring outfit and stuff, like the suit and tie one, the wedding suit, etc. The list kind of goes on and on and on. So you had some collection aspects up in this 3D platformer as well. So it kind of gave you a lot of stuff to do depending on the kind of play style that you would really love to go through and traverse through your Mario games. So I feel like within this game, there was a little bit of something for every fan out there, for the young kid at heart, all the way up to the seasoned adult that happen to play Mario 64, such as myself though. But y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, what all did you think about Super Mario Odyssey? Was it a game that you really loved and adored? What are some few little nitpicks up in the game? Some things that I might not mention up in this video though, but you might have necessarily came across something that you might have not necessarily liked. I thoroughly enjoyed this from start to finish. And as I'm looking at this case, this is probably the best that Mario has ever been, point blank period. I rest my case, and let me go ahead and close this thing out though. I could show for this game for like eons though. I gotta condense it and end the video at some point though, so y'all just gotta let me know. But if you really like this video, make sure you're gonna hit that like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember y'all, until our video I make next, see y'all.